Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott, and today is day 249 on my countdown to retirement. So today I got up and I rearranged our guest room back to the exercise room the way I normally keep it. I leaned the king size bed up against the wall, so it's kind of like a Murphy bed, but without the enclosure. And then when my wife got up, I made some bacon and eggs and toast, and then we watched Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley. And then, as I indicated yesterday, our big plans for the day was to go out to a movie to see The Accountant 2. We were really looking forward to going. So we went to the 105 matinee today. And I haven't been to a theater since August of 2024. And boy, was I surprised by the prices. So the matinee price is $8.50 per ticket, which is the same price as the senior price if you go on a non-matinee time. And it wasn't the price of the admission ticket that I was surprised by. I mean, it used to be, $6 to go to a matinee. But like I said, I haven't gone now since, in not quite a year, but it's like, 9 months or so. The thing that surprised me was the cost of the concessions. Uh, a large soda was $7.89. A large popcorn was over $9, and a small popcorn was, close to $8. And, you know, basically for two tickets and a large drink, and I had a voucher for a small popcorn, which I used. So the total cost of going to the movie today was $26.39. And, I'm just spoiled, and I know that this is a time thing and inflation and whatever. But before the pandemic, I used to be able to take my wife, my son, and myself, go to the same exact theater. So three tickets, get a large popcorn, a large soda, and a candy for my wife and my son, and it cost me $24. And um, I, basically, it became a family tradition. So virtually every week or every time a new movie came out, so maybe it was every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it was quite frequently we would be going to the movies on a weekend, to the point where my son got sick of it. But, that's one of the things that we used to like to do, that we could do as a family. And it was air conditioned. They got the snacks that they liked, and we could spend a couple of hours together. Plus, we would then go out to lunch or do something else, on the weekend when we would go. So, anyway, I was just really surprised by the prices. And then, as to the rating for the movie, I will just say it's not as good as the first one, and it's not because of the premise or anything. The chemistry between Ben Affleck and his co-stars is fine. The movie gets off to a very slow start. Like it takes quite a while until things get moving along. I mean, once they get started, it moves along pretty well. There is, some interesting comedic portions in the film, but basically, I would say, if you aren't in a rush, I would wait till it comes to your favorite streaming platform, and just consume it there. There's nothing that happens on the screen that makes going to the theater and watching it on the big screen add any incremental value to the movie experience. So, I don't know how long it'll take before it comes to a streaming platform, since it is an Amazon MGM produced film. Presumably, it will show up on Amazon Prime before other streamers, but I don't know. Anyway, uh, it wasn't something that I would tell you to rush out and go see. It was just okay. So, from my perspective, that's a disappointment because we really liked the first movie. Anyway, that's what happened with regard to that movie. Then afterwards, I ran some errands, so I went to Home Depot. Well, I need, as I indicated yesterday, I need to pick up 2 additional tomato trellises. So I looked online, and they had them at Home Depot, among other places. So, we were close proximity to Home Depot, so I went there, picked up 2 trellises. I went to go check out, and the trellises were 16. There wasn't prices on them when I picked them up, so I went to check out, and they were 16.98 each, which is ridiculous. So I told the lady to cancel it, and I put them back. And then we ran over to Walmart, and I got the exact same size trellis in the same green color for $4.98 each instead of $16.98 each. So it's just crazy that they had that price at Home Depot. Anyway, I got the trellises. I installed them in the garden over the other 2 tomato plants. So now I'm set, for the summer growing season, and now we'll just harvest the tomatoes when they come in, and that'll be that. Then both of our vehicles had less than a quarter tank of fuel left in them. So we drove over to Kroger, and I was able to use my dollar off a gallon points to reduce the cost of gasoline to $1.97.9 a gallon. Filled up both vehicles, and I was able to save myself $28.56 on the fill up. Then, after I got home, I texted my next door neighbor that Walmart has the Pool Essentials chlorinating liquid back in stock in the garden section. And I can't remember, it was $4. I think it's $4.98 a gallon. That I used that liquid last year to remove algae and mold off of my roof. Took me 8 gallons. I used the soaker feature of my pressure washer so that I could spray it high enough to reach the peak of the roof. And basically, I just had to mix a 1 ounce of Dawn dishwashing liquid into each gallon of the chlorinating liquid, and then I just stuck the tube for my pressure washer into that, and then just sprayed it back and forth on the roof. And the Dawn, in addition to loosening up any grime or algae or whatever on the roof, it also foams up so you can see what you sprayed on the roof. So you can create an overlapping pattern, and then basically you just leave it there. And within 2 to 3 days, with the sun beating down on it, it looks like you got a new roof again. And so, like I said, it's been just shy of a year now since I did it, and the roof looks great. My neighbors have been asking me how I took care of it, because I guess it's the north side of most of our roofs on that side has significant algae and mold growth in the community, and so people are wanting to get rid of that. So, like I said, and I live in an over 55 community, so most people are not going to do it themselves. They're going to go find someone to do it. But the younger people that are, let's say under 60 or right around 60, that are still willing to do the work themselves, they asked me what I did. I told them. So I texted them today, and told them how much it cost, where they could get it, and whatever. So I was able to do my whole roof for less than $50. So it worked out for me, and at least I wanted to share that information with them. So, and then they texted back, thanking me for letting them know, and I guess we'll find out whether or not they do it or not in the coming months. Then I had a light dinner. I just made some chicken salad left over from the roasted chicken that I made the other day, along with the last of my matzo ball soup. I plan to go back on the carnivore diet starting tomorrow, and be strict carnivore. My bucket list trip is coming up in August, so it's just over 90 days away. So I need to drop some weight, or I want to drop some weight, I should say. Because one of the things I have to do is go buy water resistant or waterproof clothing to accommodate the weather, the changing weather that happens during the day in both Norway and Iceland. And so I really don't want to go buy a new set of clothes at the size that I am right now. So, so I want to drop some weight before I go do that. Also want to get my blood sugar down. So any meals that you see that I share over the next 90 days are all going to be, what I'll call carnivore friendly. It's going to be beef, bacon, and eggs. It'll be other proteins that have a fat component, but you won't see any vegetables or anything like that. It'll be a straight protein and fat um, meal plan. So anyway, that's what my day was like today. So that's my update for today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below, or drop me an email at myretirementramblings@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great evening, and until tomorrow, take care.